Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. So, I kind of get caught up in a little intro. Just
I
kind of
know. I was like,
love it. It's just clearly you did your thing. It's like, and slide and come on through. Anyway, okay. Thursday night talks. Welcome in, everyone. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. I pray all has had a successful week up until today, and hopefully today it continues to be successful. So we thank you and we welcome you in and your families and your friends. And like Brother Lau says, because we're missing our other leg to the team, he always says, go get your people.
that's right.
Peoples.
Peoples.
So we are on Facebook, of course. We are also on YouTube. So if someone doesn't have Facebook, just tell them to go to YouTube, and we're there. Okay. So we've got a good show tonight, and I think it's a topic that I think we're all battling with in some form or fashion. So if you saw the advertisement, excuse me, we're gonna have a really good show. You can add in your questions, get some friends, family, community, spouses, wives. Definitely a good conversation for both, single or not. Either way, it will help everyone. So just go get a friend, go get someone that you know, and come and sit and listen to this. Of course, again, we always give knowledge and solutions, and so we just dropping, little dimes and quarters and dollar bills and $50 bills, whatever you want to do it. We dropping some knowledge, we dropping some weight. So I'm your sister Michelle. I'm your host for this evening, or your moderator for this evening. And I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, Sister Kalila. I think it's up
The other
Yeah, so
directions.
it's that way. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
I got it.
Oh, and before I give it over, like and share. I need
Like
y'all,
and share.
you gotta do what y'all need to do and go like and share. Okay, Sister Kalila.
Well, as you always know, this is one of my favorite topics.
Mm-hmm.
All of them my favorite, but this is one of my favorite topics that really touched home for me because I want to first of all, we are taught in a nation to own and not be owned. Okay. We have been hustling and bustling for other people for years. Our ancestors has been hustling and bustling for years. Now that we have the opportunity to own our own, I think we need to take some more advice instead of getting the latest gear and getting the latest land and the latest ownership of land. And we have a guru, a goat that we're going to bring to our show that will actually tells us in detail by detail, how you can become an owner as well as just even a real estate agent if you want to even buy homes, sell homes. He's going to teach you everything you need to know in regards to real estate. So without further ado, because I don't want to belabor anything, I am going to pass it over to my dear brother Tony.
Right, come on. I kind of sort of did that. I'm not used to that, family. Let me begin by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God, whom holy praises are forever due, the Lord of the worlds, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. I am forever thankful to Allah for his coming and for raising from among us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I thank them both for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. It's the same as, any righteous greeting that we give to one another. We desire peace. And so that is a prayer that we bestow on one another. We can say, free the land. We can say, Abaragani, Hotep, Shalom. We can say, Que pasa, Buenos dias. We can say, Sak pase.
That's right.
All of these beautiful phrases come from the original family of the planet Earth, and it is an honor to serve in this capacity, the three of us here tonight, on this journey called the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives.
That's right.
Set up by our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, after the criterion message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan back in the summer of 2020. That was specifically July 4th, 2020.
That's right.
And the intent of this program, this coalition, is to guide our people to safety. And we are dealing with a crisis presently in the real estate arena.
That's right.
And our brother, who will be bringing on very shortly, will be talking to us about how critical it is for us in this hour as Black, Latino, Aboriginals, no matter where we are from on the planet, no matter where we reside, why it's important that we take ownership of land.
That's
and
right.
do something with that land for the benefit of self, family, and community. So the area of focus here tonight will be the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And these are the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in his explanation as to how the Ministry of Trade and Commerce serves. It says here, the mission of the Ministry of Trade and Commerce is to expand business and commercial activity of the Nation of Islam, consistent with its aim and goals by realizing the economic potential inherent in the fulfillment of human needs, to translate the skills, talents, and interests of the believers into viable revenues streams through effective business planning and management that tends to decrease the percentage of operating funds derived purely from charity. So here tonight, we look forward to having a beautiful and awesome dialogue with our beloved brother, in which I will not introduce him. I think Sister Khalila, Sister Michelle, one of you two is going to introduce him.
Absolutely. But before we get started, just a pause for the calls.
Come on.
We need your help. If you can donate a small donation to the 7th Region Coalition by going to this Cash App, we will be more than happy to not only receive, but recycle the beautiful gifts that you receive to us to make beautiful and wonderful and informative content on this show.
That's right.
You can continue, Sister Michelle, to read that bio.
If I, Sister Khalil, before you go there,
Yes.
if I may, the StreamYard platform that we use, that's not free.
Yes.
You just brought that back on the screen.
Of course.
That's not free. The time that we put in, there are resources involved. We're looking to expand this.
That's right.
In this service that we are seeking to provide for our people. So a charitable donation to this service, we greatly appreciate, and we will put to good use. And so I just wanted to say that, Sister Kalila, just as a humble appeal to everyone tuning in.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you both. And I just want to say, for those that have already donated, thank you.
Thank you.
So so let's get started. Wow. All right, Brother Michael Shabazz. We won't even talk about the multiple hats that he wears, but we're going to talk about this main priority one, right?
The GOAT. He's the GOAT of real estate.
The go-to, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Brother Michael Shabazz is CEO of Team Blessed Realtors, a team of realtors responsible for helping hundreds of families achieve a fundamental necessity within the Black community: home ownership. In 2022, Brother Shabazz was on a mission to place 100 Black families in their own home.
My God.
Team Blessed is focused on improving the condition of the Black family and creating a safe and decent community by investing in real estate. Prior to building a realtor business, he was at Hillsborough County a mathematician or a mathematics teacher, and currently serves on the board member of Legacy Preparatory Middle School. He is also a member of the Nation of Islam. Brother Michael is NOI's real estate consultant for the 7th region and student secretary of Muhammad's Mosque number 47 in Tampa, Florida. In addition to over 20 years of service as a brother, he is a part of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Oh, Kappa. Oh, boy. Okay. The Kappa's in the house. All right. Brother Michael Shabazz is a skilled educator with a passion for real estate. Team Blessed Realtors is on a mission to educate the Black family in acquiring real estate to produce what we are taught to have, that we can have and should have: luxury, money, good homes and friendships, and all walks of life.
That's
So
right.
with that being said, let's bring, Brother Michael Shabazz, excuse me.
Bring him on.
Bring him on. I'm bringing him on.
There he is.
There he is.
And he's got his swag on.
The guru.
You know what?
Assalamu alaikum.
You got Sister Kalila hyped over there.
I'm hyped.
Mr. Kalila got me hyped.
How you doing, Brother Shabazz?
I'm doing great. I love the energy. Assalamu alaikum, first of all, family.
Wow, like,
I love the energy. I'm honored to be here presenting, so we can save as many lives by having home, land, business. We need it all for our people.
Well, you know what? Before we get hyped, we're gonna hear from the hypest of the hype, which is our dear brother and our father and our champion.
Come on.
And the best real estate agent in the galaxy, our dear brother, our father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Come on.
Praise be to Allah.
We have to ask the government for reparations. Listen, as long as you ask for a job, and they don't have them these days, but they can promise it. You're going along to get along. You know why Elijah Muhammad put on the back page of Muhammad Speaks? We want freedom, full and complete freedom. We want justice. We want equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed or class or color. We want equality. We want equality of opportunity, and we want equal membership in society with the best in civilized society. But then in point number 4, he says we believe that those of us whose parents, have been here for 400 years, and we believe that you offered us integration as a hypocritical trick to make us believe that our 400-year-old enemy has now become our friend. We believe that this is the time in history for separation. And he said, since we can't get along with you in peace, then we think what we've contributed to America, we should have some of this earth that we can call our own. So we need 8 or 10 states with an outlet to the sea. And we want you to supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 or 25 years until we can go for ourselves. Now, I had a talk at Harvard with that man, the senator that died, Moynihan. He had talked about birth control among blacks, and I went to Harvard, and we had a little debate, and I told Mr. Moynihan that, we wanted to be separated from you. We don't see you giving us no justice. So we want some of this earth that we can call our own. And I was telling him that we were willing to go into underbrush and cut the underbrush down and fell the trees and build a nation of our own. And I was telling the Honorable Elijah Muhammad what I told Moynihan, and he said, stop, you was doing all right till you got to that part. Say, you don't tell the white man that you're willing to go back and cut no underbrush. We already did that once. If we have to do it again, that's not progress. Hell no. Get out of the cities and the towns that we helped you build. Go and find some other state to move in. You move out, we move in. Now, wait a minute. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then. You better start smoking what this is. Because that mess that you're talking ain't making no damn sense.
That's right. That's right.
You're going to wait around here another 100 years so they can bamboozle you some more?
That's right. Right.
He said, well, 8 or 10 states, let them go out, we go in, and let them take care of us in that separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, they won't do that. Listen, they've been taking care of Israel for 55 years. They've given Israel over 100 billion of your tax dollars, and Israel haven't done nothing for them. You mean to tell me we who built the country, we who fought, bled, and died to maintain the country, we who gave it art and culture and season it, and we can't get along with you in peace as long as we want equal justice? Hell no, we can't wait for you to change. We want a nation. We want to be able to prepare a future for our children. We don't need no rich middle class of Negroes who can't do nothing for the masses of our people. We need land and territory that we can call our own. So reparation got to be on the agenda. We need land, Mr. President. You got all this Federal Reserve land. What you reserving it for? Yeah, we need cash. Hell yeah, print some more. But I ain't gonna give it to you in your foolish state. What are you gonna do with $20, $30, $40, $50,000 but give it right back to the enemy? It ain't about money. It's about that which will prepare a future for you and your children. You're not going to be on welfare for the rest of your life. You're not going to be out here scrounging and begging white people for a job for the rest of your life. But if you got land that you can build a real world out of it for yourself. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, I put it there. They may never give it to you. He said, but I want you to know what justice looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So they won't offer you a white woman and a few dollars and you think we made it. Some of you Negroes will sell our people out. That's right. That's right. For just a little position with white people. You won't sell us out. You'll be buying your funeral. The future of our people is not to be compromised. It would be better that you would dropped in the bottom of the sea with a millstone around your neck to betray the legitimate aspirations of our people. We got to come out from among them. We got to leave Pharaoh. Leave him. The hell with it. Leave it. Force him to tell you, nigga, I ain't giving you nothing. If you put it on the table strong enough, he'll come out of his bag. See, today he's smiling. Hi. Hi, brother. How are you? See? But if you say, no, wait, no smile, no pat on the back. Yeah, let's talk about reparation here. Okay? Then you see him change. Face get red. He open his mouth and these teeth turn into fangs. Horns come up. Say, now look, we'll give you a monument for the slaves. We'll even help you Negroes have a museum on the mall in Washington. But we'll be damned if we're going to give you anything. Say, well, fine. You're not going to give us nothing, and we're not going to give you nothing. We ain't joining your army. We're coming out of it. We ain't paying no taxes to support a system that's against us. Hell no. See, now you're throwing down the gauntlet. Now either God is real or we don't need him. God damn it, if God can't come to our defense, who the hell need a God that won't fight for us?
All praise is due to Allah.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. The wheels are still. You hear me?
Sister Kalila and Sister Michelle, on that note and on that basis, I think we should start off with our beloved brother, Brother Michael. Mm-hmm. Of course, because our open enemy has not given us reparations in the form of land. But until then, what is the greatest justice we could do for ourselves? What should we be investing in regards to self? Brother Michael, why is it important that we focus more on ownership rather than what most of us are doing right now, which is renting? What is the extreme value of owning?
Man, Sister Kalila, you got to send me that.
Of course.
I need that.
Brother Michael, as you're forming your response, please incorporate what motivated you, because that's really what I wanted to go to first. What motivated you to do what you're doing? And then let's get into that question from Brother Tony.
Let's do that.
Okay. I could put those together because they are connected. Mm-hmm. So I had I had at one time flunked out of college. I'm from New York, raised in Staten Island, and I met a fine little sister that was then my girlfriend, now my wife, of 26 years. Of 26 years, and she had gotten pregnant. We had gotten pregnant because it wasn't by herself. And and I was financially in a bad position. All right. I was very embarrassed and ashamed because I had flunked out of college, not because I wasn't smart enough, but I was, my bio said I was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So you know what I was doing. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Hanging out. I was hanging out, right? I wasn't hitting the books the way I should have been.
Right. Time for the Michael.
And so I actually had a job in upstate New York in Albany, where I received my ex, upstate New York in Albany. And we were financially straight. We had a baby on the way, and I literally had to move back in with my mother-in-law. And we lived in her basement. And at one time, I had a job picking through garbage. I had a job picking through garbage, right? They have these places like Able Body. I don't know the names of them down here, but it's where you can go. You show up 5 o'clock in the morning.
Work here, pay you.
Like manual labor jobs, that you can go to. And one of the jobs that I had was I couldn't afford a car at the time, but they would drive you to a location and you would go to work, and it was basically a recycling plant, right? They bring in the garbage, they dump it on this big belt, they give you gloves and goggles. One man picks metal, the other one picks plastic, so literally picking through garbage.
Right.
And I said to myself, I had worked since the age of 13, and I was in a very low place, right, with a baby on the way. And I said, I got to learn how to make money without physically working, right? How can I make my money work for itself? And I did two things, inspired by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and inspired by having a family on the way, a child on the way. And he told us to go to school and bring your talents back to the nation. So one thing that I did was that I re-enrolled. Now I was much more mature with a family on the way. I enrolled back in college while I was, going through multiple jobs, including waiting tables. And I had a credit card. I'd gotten a credit card for $3,000. And I used the credit card, $3,000 limit, cash advance, and I used it as a deposit on my first property, which is a 1-bedroom condo in Albany, New York.
Wow.
I bought it for $30,000. And I never forget the feeling of sitting on my couch after a hard day work. I think by this time I was, I had gotten a job in the restaurant business waiting tables, right? Because that allowed me to go back to school full time, and then on the weekends earn a good income waiting tables, working 10-hour shifts. But that was the first time in my life when I received so I got this condo, and instead of moving into it with my family, I continued to bite my tongue with my mother-in-law and swallow my pride, right? Swallow my pride and ego because I needed help. And instead, I rented the 1-bedroom condo out. And the feeling that I got, I think I rented it out for $500 or $600. And the feeling I got from that first check, that was the first time in my life that I had earned money without having to work for it, physically work for it. And once I had that feeling, I knew that this is what I wanted to do, right? This was my path. So I think I answered both of those questions at the same time, because this is why, if we don't want to continue to work a 9-to-5 job, dead-end job, or maybe even a high-paying job where, you got people that work for Chase and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but you have to give them your life in order to do it.
That is true. That is true.
Or maybe if you own your own business, you don't have a retirement fund. Okay. Your home is your retirement fund. Your home is your
savings fund. Oh, I'm doing a brother. I'm doing a brother.
Yeah. Your home is your retirement fund.
Can you repeat that?
Your home is your bank. Your home is your generational wealth to pass on to your children.
Come on, teach.
And every day that you are not a homeowner, a landowner, a business owner, you are literally giving away your children's inheritance. You're literally giving it away. You're giving away your life's work.
Man.
Right. And this is why we must start somewhere, right? Sister Kalila was making a joke earlier about the echo on here in my new house. I just bought a house.
10,000 square feet. I'm sorry, I wasn't counting.
It's a beautiful home. It's actually my third home in Florida, my fourth house. It's actually my fourth house, personal house. I've had other investment homes, but it's my fourth personal house in maybe 15 or 17 years. My first house was that 1-bedroom condo, right? So we have to start with what you can afford.
Right.
You know, start with what you can afford. I hope I answered your question.
Awesome. Yeah, so starting what you can afford. So if, let's say hypothetically, you have someone that, I mean, because now, you know, back in those days, you can do that. Now it's to the point where I don't know if I'm using this term correctly, a buyer's market, right?
It's a weird market, but
no,
market.
It's moving away from a buyer's market. I'm sorry,
okay,
more like a seller. It was a seller's market. Now it's moving in this weird zone, Brother Michael.
Okay, yeah. So can you kind of, like, for instance, let's say, you know, people, you know, have that method of, you know, hiding cash under the mattress type experience, because now everybody's credit is not where it's at. So if you have somebody that says, you know, hey, I got $15,000 worth of cash, what would you tell that person to do with that cash as it relates to real estate?
So one of the most important reasons why you need not only a realtor, a real estate professional, but a good, competent realtor. It's very important, right? There's thousands of people that have a license in real estate.
Right.
But if you were going to get a surgery, okay, right, you wouldn't get the doctor fresh out of college.
Right.
Right? You would look at and review, have they done this surgery before? Okay. Okay. If you had to go into a court of law, whether you were, you know, on either side, right? Prosecution or defendant, either way.
Right.
You would get a competent lawyer. You would look at, have they done cases like this, right? You wouldn't get a real estate lawyer when it's a criminal, you know, case. Okay. Right. So the same thing with the real estate professional. Okay. And to answer your question, for every single person, it's different.
Okay.
There's no cookie cutter.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I have clients that I have serviced multiple times. They have bought and sold houses with me multiple times. And every single transaction is different because the market is different. So what you should be doing, what loans you should be getting, what house should be buying or selling, all changes because the market changes. Okay. Especially of recent, because I mean, right now the market is changing like every 3 months.
Okay.
It's a totally different. So you asked the question before about a buyer's and seller's market.
Right.
It's a really weird market right now because 3 months ago it was a seller's market. Right. Now we're kind of sliding back into a buyer's market, right? But it kind of isn't because interest rates are really high. You know, so it's a really weird market. It's a really, really weird market, and it's constantly changing. That's why you need a real estate professional that does this all the time. What's called a full-time realtor, right? Someone that when you're on your job, doing what you're supposed to do, earning your money, your realtor should be doing the transaction for you in the background, contacting the title companies, inspectors, and looking at homes. And I mean, you don't want a realtor that they have a 9-to-5 job, right? Because they don't know the cutting edge deals that are out there, the newest loans that out of touch with the market. And that can literally cost you thousands of dollars. So as a realtor, really, my job is to really get you into your home, but you spending the least amount of money.
Okay.
I want you to have money left over to buy furniture, and, all those things that come after that. Have some savings.
So with that being said, just for the audience, can you define what a buyer's market is and what a seller's market is?
Okay. A buyer's market is basically a real estate market that favors the buyer, right? What favors the buyer, right? Prices are low, right? Also, what favors the buyer is lots of houses to pick from, right? Lots of houses on the market. What favors a buyer? An atmosphere where a buyer can say, you know what? I'm going to buy your house and I want you, seller, to help me with the closing costs, because closing costs alone can cost you $10,000, $15,000, right? So that's a buyer's market. Okay. A seller's market. Also a buyer's market is when the house costs $300,000 and you can put a bid in for $250,000 and get it and get a discount, right? This all describes what's called the buyer's market. A seller's market is all those things in reverse, where the seller basically says, you know what, I listed my house for $300,000, but you guys, you compete with each other, buyers, and you know what, I'll pick the one that gives me $25,000 over what I'm asking. A seller's market is when they're not giving closing costs. Okay. A seller's market is when they say, you know what, you're going to buy this house. I'm not even going to give you an inspection period. If you don't like it, tough, kick rocks. Someone else is going to buy it. So that's the difference between the buyer's market and the seller's market.
Wow. So would that also be added to where houses are few to choose from as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Right. Because, if my house is the only house that meets your criteria, you got to pay my price as the seller. Right. As opposed to if there's 10 houses just like mine's on the market, now you can say, you know what, seller, if you're not going to lower your price, your neighbor with the same house, they will, and I'll buy their house instead. So
I want to ask a question, because it's going back to really our community, our people. We're not taught, right, any type of science of how to invest your money, how to earn money, your own money, without having to work on someone's job. And I think it's important that we try to define for the audience, or for those that may have individuals in their homes that don't think that they can afford, or because, oh, my credit is bad, or I haven't had, I can't do this and I can't do that, and it's because it's been cemented in us that that we just can't produce, and we can't buy, and we can't have the things that they have. So maybe talk to that point, because it's really talking to the young, right, and to the older that feel like they're trapped in an apartment and they can't buy a home. And yes, we're talking about these things, but what kind of mentality, what should we do? How do we build them to get to where, what you're talking about? Because some people are not there, and they're not even,
Absolutely. So we just have to know the rules to the game. I grew up the oldest of 9 children. I grew up in the projects in Staten Island, New York. We lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. One of those apartments was my mom and dad, right? I had 6 sisters. They shared one room. They had 3 bunk beds, right?
Right.
And so I vividly remember as a teenager saying that we'll never live in a house, because living in a house is for rich people. Right. That's why I just feel honored. And that's why we're called Team Bless. By the way, they call me the realtor to gods. So
yay, the guru. I just said it. The guru.
No. The realtor of the gods.
Yeah.
That's it.
People
Just
are
like
the gods.
that.
You're the gods. I'm here to serve you.
That's right.
Come
right?
on.
That name was given to me by our beloved student minister, James Muhammad. You know, that's what he called me. You know, I didn't give it to myself, right? You're not supposed to give a name like that to yourself.
Right.
Other people give it to you. One of the biggest things we got to know is this: when it comes to credit, right? These are the things that impede us from getting into a home, right? One, we have to know the rules to the game of credit. Do you know that most rental homes, especially corporations, when they rent, you have to have a credit score of like 620 or 640.
Right.
If you have a felony record, sometimes that disqualifies you from getting that rental. But to own a home, you only need a minimum credit score of 580.
Wow.
And you're never asked your felony record. That does not matter. Right. Basically, the philosophy is this: if you can rent, then you can own.
Say that again. I need you to say that.
If you can rent, then you can own. Own or be owned. Because renting is a form of
being
I just
owned.
got this epiphany today. You ever heard of sharecropping?
Come on.
Yes.
That's what it is.
On the slides, I got the definition of renting and I have the definition of sharecropping. We're going to see how they're similar and how it's a modern day form of it. All right.
Well, let's get started on your slides whenever you're ready.
I'm going to finish this point.
Okay, go ahead.
Sister Michelle. So one, credit. Honestly, I know there's credit gurus out there and they help you out with your credit. My personal opinion is this: you should understand and know how to fix your own credit to some degree, right? If you have an extreme case, yes, get a credit repair. But if you just let someone else repair your credit, eventually when they're done, you're going to mess it up again because you don't understand the rules of credit. So I'm not a credit expert, but I have helped hundreds of people, give them advice on what to do so they can fix their credit enough to buy a home, right? That's what I'm concerned with, right? Just fix it enough to get into a home. Right. Most of the times you find that it's not that we have bad credit, it's that we have a lack of credit. We are taught to buy things in cash, that cash is king. Nah, other people's money is king.
That's right.
Credit is king. Okay.
Right.
Sister Kalila, before we go into his slides, I think this is what we're discussing right now is very much related to one thing that we were planning to discuss, which CNN was running a series of articles and news clips on why it's been so difficult with the housing market, the crazy housing market, why Black people throughout the country, it's been so difficult for them overall to purchase homes. What you are outlining right now, Brother Michael, is that related to that circumstance?
Absolutely. Y'all was looking at my slides?
No, sir.
I promise you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You prompted that discussion, beloved.
I mean, listen. Once again, this is why you need a professional to help us, right? Here's one thing that I didn't know before I became a realtor. Do you know that it doesn't cost you anything to get a real estate professional to help you through your home buying process? It costs you absolutely $0.
Right.
Zero. Okay? Why not? Why not? Okay? Right. Why not have a professional help you through the process? Because in some of these contracts, they're 40 pages long. And if you check one box wrong, you can mess up thousands of dollars. But to get to your question, Brother Tony, redlining still exists, right? The gap between white and Black as far as finances is huge right now. Is huge. And it still exists, right? This is and overwhelmingly our people are taking advantage of and when it comes to the real estate market.
Right.
You know, one thing I want to touch on, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers tonight because
ruffle them, brother.
I'm going to ruffle some feathers tonight, right? Because there's some things I'm going to talk about that I'm going to say that I personally disagree with, and I disagree with it. Why? Because my hundreds of transactions, and I've seen people hurt from these particular things, right?
You got receipts. Okay.
One of them is what's called wholesaling. Okay. Wholesaling is the process when someone who is unlicensed, right, goes out, and usually when they teach these courses about wholesaling, they tell the wholesalers to literally go out to people that are in distress, people that are behind in their mortgage, right? Our people that are behind in their mortgage, right? That someone lost their job, someone's getting divorced, right? Someone's house caught on fire and they didn't have insurance, right? They seek out homes like this where our people are in distress, and then catch them in this time of distress and say, you know what? Hey, I'll give you $50,000 for your house, when the house is worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, right? But you're catching one of our people in a time of distress, and they're gonna just take that quick cash. Okay, gonna take that quick cash. So our people are being constantly victimized over and over again. Also, children that grow up in a home, they have better educations, they have better social skills, they're in safer neighborhoods. They have more generational wealth. The list goes on and on and on and on, right? The stats are there that Black children that grow up in a house, okay, as opposed to, I'm up north from the projects, or grow up in a community where it's transient, right? It's renting. People are constantly coming and going, which are usually our more violent communities, right? Statistically, our children do better when they're in their own house. Period.
Beautiful teaching. Beautiful teaching. Well, brother, let's go to these slides. I'm interested. I'm intrigued now. Let's do it.
So we're gonna put up the slides. I needed slides, right? Because I'm a former math teacher, right? I was a teacher. So even in real estate, I'm still educating, right? What we're doing, we're educating people through the home buying or home selling process. So I just want to get into a couple of things on the slide because we need visuals, right?
Yes,
in order
sir.
to help us taking information, we got to use all the senses, right, Brother Tony?
That's right.
So at the end of the slides, hopefully I'm going to give everyone some homework. I'm going to give them some contact information, right? Because I do what's called a lot of workshops. I don't want to talk to you for 2 hours and then you just go back to what we were doing. Right. I want to give us some homework and make some, even if we take one little step today, take a step in the process of home ownership or business ownership, whatever the case may be. So
go get your people. And my brother Laz
said. I'm on it.
You're getting this.
So first, let's go to the foundation. Let's go to our elders. There we go. Okay, we already said that. All right. Marcus Garvey. He said, be black, buy black, think black, and all else will take care of itself, right? The honorable, right? What they call him, Moses, right?
Moses,
Black Moses
of his
Marcus Garvey, right? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? Point number 4 from the Final Call newspaper.
That's
what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe. We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. The minister just went into this in depth. So I'm just going to fast forward this slide because the minister, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Kalila, don't forget to send me that. I
got you.
I'm doing a workshop in person August 31st. I'm going to put the flyer on the backside. It's going to actually be sponsored by Muhammad Mosque 47, right? And I'd like to do more workshops like that. I'm going to have other real estate professionals, mortgage lenders, insurance people at this workshop live. And so I'd like to go around the 7th region. You're getting this firsthand on the 7th region coalition because I didn't see this anywhere else. Right? I'd like to go around. I'd like to go to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville.
That's right.
Our mosque and do the workshops there with local professionals.
Praise be to God.
So we're gonna have that slide.
JC Student Minister Chad saying Allahu Akbar, brother.
Allahu Akbar. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, land ownership is a pathway to wealth. how much real estate do you own?
Mm-mm.
How much land do we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is pulled from the beautiful lecture series,
The time and what must be
The
done.
Time and What Must Be Done, right? Part number 36. So you can go on YouTube and check out the rest of it on your own.
That's right.
All right. So we first have to outline the problem first before we could talk about the solution, right?
That's right.
We have to properly identify the problem. And so one of my favorite parts of what we call the supreme wisdom is problem number 13. It's special to me because problem number 13 is mentioned twice in our supreme wisdom, and it's the only problem that is given its own section. Right? So the God, Master Farah Muhammad, right? The master teacher, he wanted to point this out in particular for a reason. It goes, after learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it at no limit of time. Then you must learn to use it and secure some benefit while you are living.
While you're living, not dead.
Well, not when you're dead. And they're going to sell your home.
Right. That is luxury, money. And I meant to highlight this. Good homes.
Good homes. Not no
friendship in all walks of life.
Right.
Sit yourself in heaven at once. That is the greatest desire of your brother and teachers. Right? So we're clearly identifying not only a problem, but also how we work out that problem, right? Basically, how do we use our mathematics to get us out of the place we are to be land and homeowners, right? This is promised to us, but we have to use mathematics. We have to plan it out. We can't think there's a mystery God, hocus pocus. It's going to take work and focus.
That's right.
That's right.
But you got your brother to help you.
Hey!
Right? We got Team Blessed Realtors. By the way, we have a team of 13 realtors, right? That include some brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam. That includes our dear brother Lamar X out of St. Petersburg, who's also an insurance agent. And also our Sister Elia Muhammad, who is the wife of our beloved student regional minister, Minister Patrick.
That's right.
The student minister regional Mr. Patrick is on Team Blessed Realtors by default, because whenever the realtor is on there, his wife, the spouse has to be on the team too.
Absolutely. Right? Default.
We're both vested. Yes. All right. So the problem, right now, due to renting, right? Many of our people are finding themselves on the street. Because rents are increasing in Tampa Bay area. It's about 40% increase, right? Yep. In Miami area, it's still 40%, but 40% is a lot more money because the rents were more to begin with, right? Because it's Miami.
Right.
And so this poor sister in Winter Haven, right? Rented for 2 years. And her landlord increased her rent by $900.
Wow.
Right. I believe her rent was around $1,500 or $1,300 and basically increased it by almost $1,000.
My God.
This is occurring very often.
That
right?
is true.
And it's forcing our people to basically be homeless, right? Or to live in substandard conditions, right? Because this sister is not going to be able to live at $1,500 in the same nice neighborhood that she is in now. Right. And now she's probably going to have to get a smaller home in a less desirable neighborhood, so to say, right? A less safe neighborhood.
Wow. That's real.
Here we have our sister. People who can't afford rent are living in their cars, and cities aren't sure what to do about them. Walmart literally allows people to stay in the parking lot overnight and to come in to the store and get cleaned up. They are actually allowed this now. And many Walmarts and other, some churches are allowing it too, big churches, allowing people to sleep in their car. All right. So this is the problem that has been exacerbated, right? but there's a solution to it. Here we have to the extreme. Here we have 5 malnourished children found living in the car in Walmart, right? The parents, young brother and sister, they lost their job, got evicted, had nowhere to go, and so they started living in their car. Okay, these are young people facing these things.
Wow.
Let's talk about a couple of things, right?
Yes.
So
sir.
I said that, I don't know how I came up with sharecropping, but let's look at the definitions though.
Okay.
Come on.
Right? Rent, also known as hiring or letting. Just stick on that for a minute. Is an agreement where a payment is made for the temporary use of goods, service, or property owned by another, right? There's a gross lease, etc. You have a tenant and landlord relationship, right? Where the owner pays for the regular charges and upkeeps the property. Sharecropping is a system where the landlord allows the tenant to use the land in exchange for a share of the crop. This encourages the tenants to work to produce the biggest harvest that they could and ensure that they will remain tied to the land and unlikely to leave for other opportunities.
In this case, Brother Michael, the share that we're doing, sharing what that we're doing in renting is our finances. That's the crop.
Absolutely. Absolutely, right? Take out the word payment and put labor in the renting, right? Because the money that you're paying with, right? How'd you get the money, right? From your job, right?
Hard labor.
From your labor. So it is a form of labor. It's just that you get money for it and you take your money and use it to let or rent your apartment.
And make the other person rich.
Make the other person rich. Right now, we are putting other people's children through college by staying in their rental apartments for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I mean, we are literally giving away our own, like I said before, retirement, our own wealth, our life savings. Most Black people in America spend minimum between 30 to 60% of their income on rent. So basically, go to your job. When you get your paycheck, before you spend anything, give 50% back to your landlord. That's what most of us are doing.
Wow.
My God.
Wow.
All right. Renting versus buying. In short, right, you're always going to pay more by renting than owning and buying. We have to think to ourselves, okay, the landlord most of the time has a mortgage that they have to pay.
Right.
So just for square numbers, if their mortgage is $1,000, they have to charge you more than $1,000 to make a profit.
Right.
Right. So rent is always going to be more than a mortgage payment. Okay.
Brother
it's
Michael,
always going to be more than a mortgage payment.
It makes it more difficult to save.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, when you have a mortgage, it is for saving. While I'm on this thing real quick, one of the things I teach home buyers to do after they have purchased the house is how they could make the same monthly payment, but pay their mortgage off in 15 to even 10 years as opposed to 30 years.
Come on.
Wow.
And the way you do that is simple. Let's say you have a mortgage payment, just to use square numbers. Let's say if your mortgage payment is $1,000. Instead of paying $1,000 once a month, take your mortgage payment and divide it by 4. In this case, $1,000 divided by 4 would be $250 per week. So instead of sending the mortgage company $1,000 once a month, you send them $250 every week instead. What you're going to do is you're going to put on that check paid to principal. Very important, right? This is where the details matter and why you want a real estate professional, right? We don't want to always get the hookup. Okay. Because you get what you pay for. And in this case,
right.
as with a realtor, you pay, remember, nothing, right? Realtor doesn't get paid anything unless you get your home, buy your home, or sell your home, right? And basically they get paid in the transaction. It's not out of your pocket, okay? So that's one way that you can take a 30-year mortgage and bring it down to a 15, maybe even 10 years by paying the same thing.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Brother Michael, before we proceed, I want to say peace and Islam to two members of the Moorish Science Temple that have joined us tonight. Brother Sean, and there's another brother, Brother O'Neill. Peace and Islam, brothers. Thank you for tuning in to the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives tonight.
Peace to the gods. Peace to the brotherhoods. Salam. Right? Black residents face significant barriers in becoming homeowners. We still have redlining, like we said. We still have that. That still exists, right? There's lots of barriers out there, right? But we also have lots of new technology, right? We have lots of ways. We have people that are in business that can help us through the transaction, okay? By the way, on this note, we need more Black realtors. We need, my goodness, we need more brown, right? Spanish-speaking, original, Latino, I mean.
Que hablan español.
Goodness.
De verdad, mi hermano.
In Florida, I mean, the number of brothers and sisters that are from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, I mean, it is booming, right? But we need more qualified realtors in this space to help service our people, which is one of the things I do. I help mentor new realtors into this business, right? But you definitely need mentorship.
Yes, sir.
All right. So those are the problems, right? Do you want to take a break or ask me a question before we move on?
No, I want to ask you a question about more realtors, because I have a stack of business cards, because I do a lot of networking.
Yeah.
Out of this stack, and this is just from like 2 months. Most of these business cards are real estate agents, right? So when you say we need more of them, because I'm collecting more cards from real estate agents, and I'm assuming, because I'm like, every other person is now a real estate agent. I had a friend that actually, one of my mentors in the boutique industry, she actually closed down her boutique to become a realtor. And I'm like, is it, I mean, I'm not saying that, she's an older person, but she's rather old. I'm like, is the real estate, is it, I want to say an age requirement, because I mean, you up there, you selling houses. So knock to old, because I mean, I'm like, is it too late? I mean, I could tell my age. I'm 46, right? Would it be too late for me to become a real estate agent?
Not at all, sister. Not at all.
Brother Michael, like how Jay-Z said it, don't knock the hustle.
Look, that's what I can do. I can't hustle. That's one.
Not at all. Not at all. Right. As long as you have a young mind, right? Okay. As long as you have a young mind. So there are thousands of real estate, right? If you look up the number of people that get their real estate license, it's thousands. You know what? Can you put me on the big screen? We can pull that down for a minute.
Yes, I can.
There we go. There's thousands of realtors right now out here. And so the key thing for me, when I got into real estate, I gave up 50% of my commission to my broker. A lot of realtors come into business, they don't want to do that, right? You have to understand you are starting a new business.
Yes, sir.
And the reason why I gave up 50% of my commission for the first 5 transactions is because that's called tuition. Right? You have to learn your way into the business. The real estate license does not show you how to make money, how to get clients, how to write contracts, how to, when you come up, how to prospect. It doesn't show you how to do that. It just tells you the law. It tells you how to scatter them silver bracelets.
Right.
Many people come into the business. That's why you have such a large stack of real estate cards. But only about 15% of realtors are what's called full-time realtors. Most realtors work a 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
And so the statistics go like this. Nationally, the average number of transactions for a realtor is only 4 to 6 transactions per year. Okay. I didn't say per month. 4 to 6 transactions per year. That's the national average for realtors.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's not a lot of transactions. That's very few, right? I do 4 to 6 deals in a month.
Wow.
Right? The most I've done is 13 transactions in 1 month. Okay. So it's all about getting a good realtor that matters tremendously, and getting the mentorship, the proper mentorship, and be willing to pay for it. You're starting a business. What business do you know that you can get it off to the ground without paying something into it? Right? But it's well worth it. I was a teacher. Statistically, by the way, the best realtors come out of the fields of teachers and nurses. Statistically make the best realtors, right? Because you have to care, right? It can't be just about money.
Right.
But I'm happy to say this is my 10th year in real estate. My first year as a realtor, I doubled my income from being a teacher my first year.
Wow.
And it has, of course, increased exponentially. It started out just me and my wife. By the way, my wife inspired me to be a realtor. She actually got the real estate license first. Her first deal, she made $16,000.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, I'm okay. So
yeah, you on board.
Right? But the real work was learning on the job, learning and being able to submit to a mentor that can mentor me into the business. There's no way we would be as successful as we are now without that initial mentorship. So you have to get the mentorship. Otherwise, you just become another realtor card in Sister Kalia's stack.
Right.
Brother, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sister Michelle.
No, this is what I was going to ask. So, I mean, we're hearing a lot, right? But I really want to talk about, so we talked about why it's important to own a home, right? But let's talk a little bit about the investment and the return on investment and what you can utilize when you're trying to do things like, say you want to open up a business and you need collateral, or you're trying to do something, right? You're trying to buy more homes. You have a home. So talk about the benefits, right, of what you can get out of owning a home, because yes, you're getting a home, but if you understand it properly, it can catapult you up to the next level.
Absolutely. So when you buy a home, it gives you multiple different things. Can you put that slide back up? Because I'm actually going to speak to that. The benefits of being a homeowner, right? So you get increased net worth. What does that mean, right? That basically means if you buy a home for $200,000, right? A year from there, it may be worth $10,000 more. And over 10 years, it'll be worth $100,000 more, right? So literally, by you doing the same thing that you would be doing as renting, right? Instead of you putting a mortgage payment out, you actually increase in net worth by $100,000 without working, right?
Yes,
Your
sir.
home worked for you, okay? All you did was live in it, okay? Borrowing power. One of the things you can do, right? That money that you gain, it becomes your savings, but also it allows you can get what's called an equity line of credit or an equity loan. And you can actually borrow off of it to do whatever you want to do, right? Whether that's buy a car for a lower interest rate, cash, or better thing to do, start a business. Most small businesses are started using the equity from their personal home. Most small businesses are started using the equity from their personal home. Stability. You don't got to move all around all the time. I just bumped into a sister, and the landlord, which is my client, he had some things that he had to get done, and he had to sell a home. So we had to tell the tenant, hey, you're a nice tenant, but, you have to go. And it was her third time moving in 2 years.
Wow.
Right? She's a single mom. So the instability of moving around, it wears on you, right? Also, those beautiful tax deductions that you get, right? And once again, appreciation, right? The value of your house keeps growing and growing. Can I talk personally about myself?
Come on. We got bear witness, Brother Michael.
I like telling stories, personal stories, because it really connects, right?
It makes it real.
So, it makes it real. So once again, I bought my first home for $30,000, never lived in it, rented it out. Then after that, I moved down to Florida, and goodness gracious, we're in a great state. I mean, you can buy homes and land here cheaper than most parts of the world. And we're in a place where we have beautiful weather and everybody wants to be here. I don't care where people are in the rest of the country. They all want a vacation home in Florida. They all want a resort, an Airbnb in Florida, right? Or want to retire here. So we're in a great place to be, and there's plenty of land for sale here. So I moved down here. I bought a home. So there's some people that say, you know what? I don't want to buy now. And they've been waiting 10 years, 20 years to buy because the market is high right now. And you're right. It is high compared to 5 years ago.
Right.
But I tell those people, you have to get in the game. My first home that I bought in Florida, I paid $180,000. I purposely never rented in Florida. Listen, when I moved here, I'm like, we buying a home. We moved. And also, I didn't want my wife to get homesick and move back to New York. So I was like, we buy a home, then we got to stay, right? We got to make it work, right?
Yes, sir.
So I bought it for $180,000. Right after I bought the home, the market dipped. This is 2006, 2007. Crashed, so to say. So overnight, I'm live. I'm live, family. Family. I'm live. They can hear you.
You're the one talking the loudest.
I'm on a Zoom call.
No, you're on a stream, y'all. You're on the internet.
You're on a show.
Oh, wow.
Everyone
I'm
sees
on a show. I'm on a Zoom call.
Everyone
Okay.
can see
So,
him.
The market dipped, right? This is live. This is live. This is live, right? Family live. I lost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Oh, wow.
Just like that, right? Just like that. And so sometimes people say, I'm not going to get in the market because I could buy a house. I don't want to buy high, things of that nature. Listen, I still came on top. I was still better buying high than I was renting, right? That's still better than renting, period, right? One of the other lost benefits, right? Because I hear this too. What if I lose my job? What if I buy a house and I lose my job? Well, first of all, if you're renting and lose your job, you're going to be out of that house. I don't care, even if you're a professional squatter, they're going to have you out in no more than 2 months, period, right? But did you know that if you own a home, the law protects homeowners? There's some people that stay in their home for 2 years, 3 years without paying a mortgage payment. And after that 2-3 years, they're still able to renegotiate with the mortgage company. And they take all them payments that they're supposed to pay over 2 and 3 years, throw it on the backside of their home mortgage, and allow them to pick up payments like nothing happened. Right? Only as a homeowner can you do that. So you're talking about protection, real protection for your family. Okay.
Brother Michael, and there's a phrase that you said to me one time: scared money makes no money.
Makes no money. Right? We can't be as we say down south, don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Right.
Don't be scared. Okay. There's nothing to fear. Right. So what I end up doing with that home that I bought, right? Instead of being scared, I went ahead and bought, right? So the market was down, right? This is when foreclosures and everything was all over the place.
Yes, sir.
Well, I could have been scared and not doubled down, but I doubled down and bought another home, right? So at one time I owned 2 houses, right? The new house that I bought, I paid $150,000. It was twice as big, on the water with a cul-de-sac. Okay. I moved into that house, right? And I rented the house that I was upside down on. Okay.
Very good.
Well, now I let renters pay my mortgage on that house. And I moved into my new bigger house. My family was busting out of the little townhouse we had anyway. Okay. And then eventually the market kept going up while the renter was paying my mortgage for it, plus making profit on it. And eventually I sold it. Okay. So listen, you can't lose by being a homeowner. You can't lose. You can only win. No matter the market conditions, it's still better than renting. When you rent, you are literally hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging money. If you were wounded and bleeding, would you put a cloth on it? Would you stop the bleeding? As soon as possible.
Right.
As soon as possible.
You know, I was talking to a family member of mine, and you know, they come into my house and they are like marveled. And he's like, "Oh my God, your house is so big." And I was like, "Oh, what praises be to Allah." I said, "How much do you pay, you know, for your apartment?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I pay like $2,200, 24 now, because we got to move to another apartment." And I'm like,
wow,
I pay so much less than that amount, and I own my home.
Right.
So can you expound on people who assume because you live in a house, your mortgage is higher than a renter?
I mean, it's generational curse. A lot of time, we just haven't been taught, and we have only seen examples. Like I said, I came out, I owned a home before my parents did. Right? They couldn't teach me what they didn't know. I saw my grandmother live in an apartment her whole life.
Yes, sir.
Her whole life. And so, it's just a matter of going out and wanting to do better and wanting to do better. So what was your question again?
No, just because again, the stigma of people who actually rent assumes that people who have mortgages pay more on a mortgage versus I pay for rent.
Right.
That
we just don't know. And we have impediments that we don't want to, in order to be a homeowner, you have to get uncomfortable.
Right.
Right. The process is uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar.
Right.
To rent, all you do is walk in, you go, you see it. Yeah, we like it. Boom. You pull out the lease, you sign it, you send them, you give them the deposit. Boom, you're done. You can do it in an hour, really, But the home buying process takes 30 days, 40 days.
Yes, sir.
And it's a process that can be overwhelming for a new home buyer. Okay?
You have to be patient.
Right? You have to be patient. You have to be
It's
patient.
an engram. This is definitely an engram of mine.
You have to be focused, right? And one of the things we have to do, we have to stop avoiding the things, right? Many of us, let's put it out there. Let's get uncomfortable. We don't want to deal with our credit.
That just came in my mind, Brother Michael.
That's one of the biggest things. We don't want to deal with the credit. So we try to find all kinds of ways of going around, especially of recent. I get phone calls sometimes, people call me and say, "Listen, I want to buy an investment home, and I gotta stop them and say, do you own a home? Right? Yeah, I want to buy a house under this LLC and set up a C Corp. And listen, first of all, in order to get a corporate loan, a loan under your corporation, you have to get what's called a personal guarantee, which basically means they check your personal credit. Because if you don't act right on your personal credit, I'm not going to lend you your business money, right? Right? So we have to understand that purchasing your first home is a personal transaction, but it's also a business transaction, right? Start with self, right? Before you want to go out and buy multi-family homes and be a real estate guru, buy a home yourself. Matter of fact, those are the best steps to take to learn how to get into the real estate business. Buy your own home. Like the wealth of knowledge and information experience you get just going through the home buyer's process is tremendous. It's beautiful, right? And then when you get into home, learn how to take care of the house, right? You may need to know how to hammer a couple of things and drill a couple of things now, right? Because it's yours.
Right.
Brother Michael, I want to say this as well. It's because, and you had mentioned about credit, and this is something that I'm trying to, of course, you always have if you got older children, there's always one that's all over the place with the credit, right? But I think because it can be overwhelming, right? Because when you think about it, like, oh my God, my credit score is 480 or 500. What do? I got these charge-offs on my accounts. How do I get it off? And this, instead of getting overwhelmed because everybody got a pamphlet, everybody got a book, right? There's hours and hours of video that is so overwhelming. It's like you're ready to jump out the window. You're like, I don't understand it. It's overwhelming. But I mean, simply, I think what you said, and maybe you can break it down because I know what I did. I went and I simply pulled my credit report and I went right down the list, and all that stuff that I couldn't pay, I called them up because it was on there for a while. I just called them up and said, listen, I don't have $1,000, but I got 400. Will you take it? And I negotiated. And so I to close out those accounts. And the small stuff they don't worry about, but that's I called every one of them. And some of them, I just put in a bunch of disputes to see what I can get to come off. So, I mean, simple things. And I just want you to just make it simple, stupid, because it's overwhelming. Because everybody has a story and they tell you all these. I mean, really, it's overwhelming. I got overwhelmed. And so I just stopped. I pulled my report. I started closing stuff out. And literally within 30 days, my score jumped. So, I mean, if you can maybe talk a little bit about that, because we're talking about buying homes and all of these things and all the benefits. But if we can't even get past that,
that's right.
It doesn't become a reality.
Okay. So one of the important things in the home buying process, along with your realtor, connects you with the right professionals, right?
Yes, sir.
The right mortgage lender is critical. Critical. There's no romance without finance, right?
It's right?
A new we have to get the money first before we go shopping, okay? But also a good mortgage lender, which I have a few that I work with. One of the things they can do is they can pull up your credit score and tell you exactly what to do to get your credit score a certain place to qualify, right? And basically understanding some simple rules to credit. One, in the Nation of Islam, we say, make your word bond, right? And so basically you got to face it head on. Just like you said, Sister Michelle, don't try to dip and dive and not pay. Listen, you're going to have to pay those debts, right? Or settle them. Face them head on, call them and say, listen, I don't got $1,000 or $2,000, but I'll give you this. If they don't say yes to that, you can say, you know what? How about we start a payment plan? I can give you $50 a month. That's better than having it in the collections. Because a lot of times you don't actually have to pay it off. You just have to get it out of default or collections, set up some kind of payment plan, which will get it out of default or collections.
Right.
The other thing is you need to have 3 to 4 credit cards.
At minimum.
Stop avoiding credit.
Right.
You need credit. In order to have good credit, you have to have credit, right? We can't go on this cash only kind of thing, okay? 3 to 4 credit cards. One place you can do that, real simple, you can go online. I use Credit Karma, right? Open up a Credit Karma account. It's free. You can check your credit score. And the beautiful thing about it, it tells you what your credit score is. And every time it goes up or down, it tells you how much it went up or down and why. What happened? What caused it to go up or down? One thing we have to know, once we get credit cards, right, you don't want to charge it up more than 30, maximum 50% on any card, okay? It's called utilization. If you go over 50%, right? So if you have $1,000 credit, Sister Michelle said, make it plain. If you have $1,000 credit limit, okay, you only to use maximum $500. I know. What sense does that make? Why'd you give me $1,000 if you only want me to use 500? That's the rules to the game. You got to know the rules to the game, right? Because if you go over 50%, what happens is it actually drops your credit score.
Right.
It's called
overutilization. Brother Michael, if I may, the less percentage that you use, the better.
The better.
If what the standard in the industry is, if using around 30%, really 30%,
30 is
beyond
better.
30%,
right?
And if you used 10%, that's even better.
That's even better. Which is why you need to get higher credit limits. Right?
My credit limit just actually went up.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, if you got a $200 credit card, right? If you can only spend 30%, that's like $60. That's not even enough to put in your gas tank, right?
Right.
Right. So you need higher. You know, I actually met people that they're scared to get higher limits on their credit card because they feel like they're gonna mismanage the money, right?
No,
but also you gotta know how to manage the credit cards, right?
But this is what should be done for them.
Like, pay them off.
Yes, sir. But this is what should be done. This is the key. Whatever you usually spend, and of course you got to be frugal. But whatever you usually spend on, say gas to go to work, put that on the credit card.
Absolutely.
Whatever you usually spend on the grocery store, basic things of that nature, put it on the credit card, and then when the statement comes in, pay it all off. Don't just pay the $25. And
the
then,
minimum.
Okay, no, yeah, definitely not the minimum. You got to pay it all off. You got to make those plans, and that's what helps build your credit.
Here's a little tip that I always tell people with credit cards too. Every time I get a new credit card, right? Mr. Chad said credit cards was free money. Me too, right? But two things. One, remember, I call my credit cards my business partners.
Good,
right? Because I bought my first house, I used my credit card.
I
got a cash advance, right? So let your credit cards be your business partners. Let them work for you, right? Instead of putting you work for them and clothes and things like that, you can use them for business transactions to make you more money, right? But one of the things I do, as soon as I get a new credit card, I go turn it over. I go to the website for the credit card, set up an account, and I put it on automatic payment.
Yep, that's what I do.
This way, I never miss a payment because the minimum payment is automatically withdrawn from my bank account.
Oh, wow.
Automatically. Minimum payment. Minimum payment is only $20, right? $25, whatever it is. Right? This is a way that you can never miss a payment because you don't want to miss payment. That'll drop your credit score badly.
Right. We do have a question, Brother Michael, here. Sister Ashley X asks if you pay, she asks, if you pay off the credit card every month, should you still only use 50% of the limit?
Yes.
And Brother Michael, from my own experience, from my experience, from my experience,
30% is better. Right?
30%, no more than 30%.
Really, 30%. Right, is really where it's at. But I understand you got to give them a little wiggle room, Brother Tony. You got to give them a little wiggle room, right? Definitely try not to go up to 50%. Matter of fact, if you get to 50%, you should be sounding the alarms, right? You should be like, yo, I'm in the danger zone, right? So yeah, you don't want to go over that, and keep it as low as possible. You keep it 10%, cool. But usually you need higher limits in order to do that. Also, just talking on credit. Once again, I am not a credit expert, not at all. But I just have helped personally. I repaired my own credit just like Sister Michelle did, but I've helped hundreds of people with getting their credit right so they can purchase a home. Many times, us as Black people, we're paying more for the same goods or services because we don't have credit. For instance,
that's right.
When we go out to Savers Day or we go on a trip, we go on vacation, right? You're supposed to book. When you book those things in advance, you get better deal, right? You know, if you book your flight 6 months to a year in advance, you get a better deal as opposed to waiting to the last minute.
Right.
But sometimes we don't do that because we don't have the credit lines to book the flight, right? Matter of fact, you can't even get a rental car without a credit card now, right?
Exactly. That is true.
Right. Never mind the resort and things of that nature. Okay. So that ticket that once was $200, you have to wait. Well, I got to wait till this paycheck come in and I got to pay this and that. You wait till the last minute. That same ticket's $500. Right. Why? Because we didn't have credit. So we end up paying more for the same goods and services because we don't have available credit. Get your credit cards again. Get your credit game together. Stop ducking and diving.
Look, my mom used to always tell me, hey, you spun it, own up to it. So
you spun it. Okay.
Yeah. You spun it, own up to it. Look, they ain't give it to you in half. Don't give it to them in half.
Definitely.
We have another question by Sister Yolanda Muhammad. She says, free fee. Why was given a negative? I guess she's making. I'm trying to understand the question. Why was given a negative mark for using a credit card? I guess she's asking why are we looking at credit card, the use of credit cards being something negative?
Underusing, right? I think she's talking about underusing. So if you have a credit card and you don't use it at all, they will shut it down.
Yeah, they will.
That's not good either.
They will close it. And what happens is, right? Another thing, don't close your credit cards. Right? Right? Don't close, because one of the things that hurts us, that's part of our credit score, is called credit history. So if you have a credit card, even if you had you missed some payments on it, right? You still don't close it down, right? You still keep it open, because if you had it for 5 years, it gives you what's called credit history, which really makes up, I believe, 30% of our credit score is what's called credit history. So when you close a credit card that you had for 5 years, you actually took 5 years and made it to zero now. You got zero history now, right? So credit history is very important. When you have a credit card, like Brother Tony said, just put little charges on it. You know what I'm saying? Put gas on it. You know,
when you go to the dollar store, go use it.
Yeah, use it a little bit and pay it off, right?
Right.
That's it.
Okay, I have another quick question. Well, I think that it falls under Sister Michelle's question. But I look, I'm getting personal, like Brother Michael say. Okay, so I had this card. I was real foolish. Credit card. So they closed it for me because I wasn't paying them. But what I did is, because it was a part of my bank, it was, and so normally, like, I pay them every month, but the credit card is closed. Is it a way that I could probably get another credit card once that credit card is paid off?
Okay, so the credit card is closed, but
credit card is closed.
But you still owe a balance on it.
Yeah, probably like $200. I need to pay it off next week.
Yeah, just pay them off, because it's gonna take it out of collections or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite places, once again, is Credit Karma, right?
Right.
Oh, you go on Credit Karma, it actually, according to your credit score, it actually will recommend credit cards to you, right? And it will organize them excellent, good, fair, or bad chance of being approved. So go on there and just all the ones that say excellent and good, apply for them.
And Brother Michael, there
also,
are
also visit your credit union, right?
Yes.
Credit union is a good place to get credit cards and loans and things like that. Not for mortgages, not for home loans though. Hold on, not for home loans.
That's a good one. Okay, talk about that. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so in the real estate industry, right? We prefer, you can use any, as a buyer, you can use any lender. It's your right to use any lender you want. And so sometimes I do have buyers that insist on, hey, I bank at Navy Federal, so I want to use them for my home loan. Or I bank at Bank of America or SunTrust or wherever that's at. But in the real estate industry, it's better that you get what's called a mortgage broker, right?
Okay.
Because Bank of America, Navy Federal, Credit Union, Suncoast, they don't specialize just in mortgages, and they're not as user-friendly. In other words, have you ever tried to call a banker in the middle of the day and get them on the phone? Good luck. Okay. How about on the weekends? How about at night, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night?
Not gonna do it.
Well, during those times, I'm still working on your transaction. Okay. On the weekends, I'm working on your transactions, and I'd be able to pick up the phone and talk to your mortgage lender, right? And so mortgage lenders, they specialize just in home loans, and they're available on the weekends. They're available when you have trouble, right? And that's what we need, right? We don't need people that we can't get them on the phone. And they're usually slower, much slower in the lending process. So
we do have a question from Sister Yolanda. I'm here trying to pull it up. Here we go. And actually, I was going to make this comment, Brother Michael, when we were talking about credit cards. She said, what are the benefits of secured and versus unsecured credit cards? I was going to mention the secured credit cards, which those are, if you're experiencing bad credit, you can still get a secured credit card, which that does help improve your credit score when you use it. What a secured card is, you put a certain amount down. Usually, with most secured cards, you put down $200, and that serves as like your credit.
That's your starter card. That's your buy here, pay here for credit cards.
Right.
So I was there. At one time, I had a credit score.
Those Russell Simmons. I call them the Russell Simmons.
Right. I remember that.
So the secure credit card is, if you got a really, really low credit score, you may have to start with what's called a secure credit card, where you have to basically put your own money down as collateral for your credit.
Someone's phone.
As opposed to that's my Umi, that's my mother. And as opposed to secure, unsecured credit card, which is the better, right? When you have better credit, then you get unsecured and you get larger credit lines, and you don't have to put money down in order to get that credit.
Exactly.
Once again, I'm not a credit professional, expert, or anything like that. I've just helped hundreds of people, not thousands, hundreds of people.
Exactly.
You're on your way to 1,000.
I was going to say, and most times too, you can just go online. I always suggest these little academies and stuff like that, but they have these little academies, even on Khan Academy, they have little things about credit, about all these things. And you really, if you want, there's places for you to learn the whole credit situation, what to do. And you don't have to go to people if you don't want to. But the whole point is that, because we don't want to turn this into, even though credit is important, the point I want the audience to take is that you got to own it, right? You got to not be scared. Go and order those. I think the first credit report is free, or when you get denied credit, you can get your own credit report. But get your credit report and get it and review it and start making phone calls. Just like Brother Michael said, simple little steps that you can do to reduce the debt or even remove the debt. And sometimes if you challenge the debt, sometimes if they don't respond, they'll take it off.
Right.
So there's little things that you can do. And the whole point of getting a home is getting your credit score to the number that's going to be acceptable to lenders. And also too, your credit score does dictate your interest rate. So the higher you can get your credit score, the lower your interest rate. And that's the ticket, because interest rate will kill you if it's too high. It's just, it's predatory after a while if it gets too high. So the point is that you really got to take your time and own it. Get the credit reports, get an idea of the home that you want, what you want, get with the professional like Brother Michael. His team does it. I'm sure they can work it out. You know what I mean? And they can help you along with the people that they're connected to help get you to home ownership. This is our path. This is our way. So I just wanted to make that point because I don't want us to gear off and wanting people to know you can get help and understanding and educating yourself, but go and get your reports and sit down with it. It's okay. It doesn't matter how bad it looks. Just know that you can change it around within 30 days.
That's right.
30
I have
days.
a question. Brother Michael, you know, you have a lot of people that is anti real estate, and I'm just gonna get some land and I'm gonna build it on my own, you know, and get this, you know, and I'm going, you know what I mean, get these acres and you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So so what do you say to those people who are not interested in, I don't want to live by anyone, I want to own my own land and then build from there?
You need a real estate professional. Okay, stop trying to do it on your own. Why are you trying to figure out the wheel when someone already done hundreds of wheels already?
Right.
Get a real estate professional. One of the hardest things being a realtor is that everybody thinks they know about real estate. Listen, I got Sister Michelle, you're in HR, right?
Yes.
You're in HR?
Yes.
I'm a pretty smart guy. Used to be a math teacher. I got my master's degree. There's no way I can go and do your job better than you.
No.
You do it all the time, right?
Right.
Yes, I do.
So how I literally get people that think they know better or more than me in real estate. I do this every day, all day. Brother Tony knows, he calls me about 4 or 5 times about real estate.
I ask him 1,000 questions.
And that's what I'm doing, right? So there's no way that you would know more than a real estate professional, okay? All right, right, okay. You're listening to mom or dad, or right? If someone bought a house 10 years ago, that's not what's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah, is there some information you can get from them, but you got to get the most recent information. It's super important, right?
Yep.
So for those, and we do get that a lot we get it a lot in the nation. I'm just brothers and sisters in the nation say it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I got it from.
Brother Michael, I'm gonna say this. We have to stop acting like we know it all and actually take time to listen to our brother, listen to our sister who's a realtor and a professional that has the experience.
Okay. You're right. Okay. Can you put the slides up to help me answer this question?
Absolutely.
Because the reason where that really comes from, right, is because in our what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe, it talks about land, right? And so there's a lot of focus on land, which there should be, right? But we also have to clear words, okay? The word I want to clear here, right, is real estate. Real estate is property in the form of buildings and land, right? When we see the word and, that means those two words beside it are connected, not or, and, okay? Real estate can be used for residential, commercial, industrial purposes, resources such as water, mineral, right? Includes any resources on the land. So real estate is land, such as water or minerals. When you go to the tax documents or the county appraisers, what it'll say on there, it'll say a phrase called improved land. What is that, right? Is land that has been upgraded through any variety of means. Land can be improved simply by changing zoning restrictions or involve a more considerable project, such as erecting a building or establishing utility hookups, right? In other words, a home.
Right.
You got a home, you want utilities, right?
Right.
And then lastly, the word realtor. Realtor is a licensed person to act as an agent for the sale or purchase of buildings and land. So once again, when we say real estate, we are innately talking about land.
Right.
My real estate license allows me to sell anything, land, and anything on the land. You know that as a realtor, one of the things that I cannot sell, right, buy and sell, is a mobile home where the land is leased. As a real estate agent, there has to be ownership of land in the transaction. Otherwise, you, as a realtor, you can't do the transaction, right? So to my brothers and sisters that says, I want to get all this acreage, it's actually easier to get a bunch of land. Go ahead and get your land. That's fine. Get 5 acres, but get it with a home on it. It's actually easier to get land with a home on it than it is to get raw land. And as a matter of fact, we shouldn't really be getting raw land, because what did we start off with here today with the minister, right? Now, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, he described where he said, just give us the land and we'll, how do you describe it?
Leave it the way it is.
No, he said, no, take down the branches. We'll take down the branches.
Something like that, he said, right? And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad corrected him.
Come on.
In other words, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, okay, we don't want raw land. We did that already. We already put in the roads.
Right.
We did. Right. So in other words, he said we need improved land, right?
Right.
Improved land is what we need. We need it with the buildings. And the reason why it's easier to get land that has a home on it is because if you go just get raw land, you usually have to put down 50%.
Right.
Okay. Where if you get land with a home on it, you have to put down as little as 3.5%. That's a big difference. That's a tremendous difference. Okay. Huge difference. All right. And plus, it's a 2-for-1. Okay. Unless you're a professional farmer, why are you buying raw land? You need to be able to live on it and farm on it. Do both, right?
Right.
Not just do one. Okay. And there are special loans out there to do that, right? There's special loans out there to do that we have access to. By the way, I help people get commercial buildings as well, not just residential. By the way, I help people get multifamily units. There's special loans for that, right?
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, there's loans out there that you can get up to a 4-family home using the same loan that you would get as a single family house.
Wow.
Putting down 3.5%. Right? This is what I recommend to those of us that may be single, right? Instead of just buying a single family home, turn your liability of a mortgage, monthly mortgage, change it into profitability. Buy yourself a duplex, a triplex, or a quadruplex, live in one unit, rent the other one. So now your house is paying you instead of you paying for it.
Brother Michael, doesn't the scripture say that we suffer for the lack of knowledge?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sir.
Absolutely.
And this is the knowledge that we need in order to become successful.
Beautiful teaching.
Wow.
Can I talk about what we don't need? So in the nation, we got what's called the restrictive laws. Right? So, right, we not only got to talk about what we can do, but what we should not be doing, right? In the classroom, Brother Tony, right? Because I'm always still a teacher, right? We have examples, and then we also do what's called non-examples.
Right.
So these are some things that you shouldn't do if you want to own a home or put yourself in a position to be a homeowner, right?
I'm listening.
Do not finance a car or furniture.
Oh my
God. The big one on here is a car.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So many brothers, it breaks my heart when I got to tell a brother or sister that they can't get a home because their debt to income ratio is too high because they have a $500, $700 car note. Right? if you can, you should buy your home before you buy your car. This is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. Now, understand we're in Florida. You may need a vehicle to get reliable transportation, but right. You don't got to get the Mercedes Benz. Right?
Not yet.
Right? They are a very affordable car. Get yourself a $200 car payment. Right? And listen, if you are in that position, are you willing to sell your car and maybe downgrade so you can get the home? You got to be right here, right? You got to be right. Are you willing to do that? Okay.
Beautiful teaching.
Because after you get the home, they'll approve you for whatever cars you want after you get the home. Trust. Okay.
Right.
Another thing, for those of us that own our own businesses, I'm one of them, right? You own your own business. We tend to, when we go do our taxes, do a lot of write-offs. So you're really making $100,000, but by the time you write it all off, you only got to claim $30,000. Right? But in order to get a home loan, they're going to go based on your taxes, your adjustable gross income. Once again, I'm not a tax professional.
Yes, sir.
Well, basically, you got to show the receipts. Okay? That's what they're going to go based off of. Right? So don't go writing off a whole bunch of stuff. Once again, whatever your situation is, get with a licensed professional, because then we can cater a plan specifically to your needs. Everyone is different. You need an individual plan, home buying plan, right? There are special loans out there too, called a statement loan, where they calculate your income based on your bank statements, right? But in order to do that, you got to be taking your money and make sure you're putting it into the bank account, right? So if you're going all cash with your business, that's a no-no. You need third party, okay? Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, never, right? like what's his name? The brother from Friday? Never, ever, never, ever, never.
Chris Rock. Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Okay. Never put your family and friends on your credit. I don't care if it's your daughter or your husband or your children. Never do it.
I already been that. Been there, done that. Not going to do it no more though.
Now, to combine these two, there's two of them that I've seen people combine together. They buy themselves a car, and then they take their daughter or son and buy their daughter or son car on their credit too. So now you got two car notes on your one credit. Don't ever, never, never, never do that. Right? What you're doing is you're killing your debt to income ratio. Okay. What's called your DTI, which is one of the requirements for all loans. You have to be below what's called the debt to income ratio. Don't do it. Small note too. When you get a mortgage, if you're a married couple, if you can, you want to try to put that mortgage in only one of the spouse's name.
Learn
not two.
I learned
not
that.
two.
Okay? That's good teaching.
This is why. If you're buying a $500,000 house, if both husband and wife get on that mortgage, they don't split that $500,000 on each of your credit. They don't say $250 over here. No, they put $500,000 debt on each of your credit, which is a total of $1 million worth of debt. Once again, it will kill. You'll get in the house, but it'll kill your debt to income ratio. Now, sometimes you need both incomes in order to afford the home, right? My first house, I had to do it. Okay, I had to put me and my wife's income. Okay, but if one of you makes the income where you can afford it on your own, just put one, right? Right? By law, the other spouse is still an owner of the house, right?
Right. Especially in Florida.
Mortgage, hey, brother, if you can do it on your own, my brothers, you know what I'm saying? Set your queen in heaven at once.
Right.
Set her in heaven at once if you can do it on your own, right? But you may need a help me. You try to do it on your own.
Yes, sir.
Don't try to purchase a house without a realtor. I mean, I've said it over and over again. We might still have people that try to do it. Let me give an example. Sister Elia had this client in Miami. the sister already owned the house and she wanted us to sell the house. She bought the house cash, right? She paid about $50,000 or $60,000 cash for the house. It was a pretty nice house. First of all, if the deal is too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true, right? It's usually something wrong. So when we want to go sell it, one of the things we do as real estate professionals, we get a title company. The title company is a company that makes sure everything is on the up and up.
I see what it's going.
Right? Make sure that the person trying to sell the house is the seller and has the right to sell the house.
Right.
And more importantly, make sure there's no liens on the house. Title company said, listen, came back, there was over $150,000 worth of liens on this house that this sister bought.
Oh, dear Lord.
And if she had gone through a title company, as opposed to just giving these people cash, you know what I mean? So we couldn't sell a house. And in order, it was actually in the negative, the house. In order for her to sell a house, she would have to bring $100,000 to the table in order to sell the house.
My God.
And she was in this pickle now. You know what I mean? If she would have got just a professional, you know what I'm saying?
A professional.
She wouldn't have been in that position. And
Yes,
we
sir.
get victimized like this. Don't try to circumvent the system. Do it the right way. It definitely pays off. Next one, don't change jobs, right? If you make a paycheck now, a W-2, don't switch over to the exclamation mark's not supposed to be there. Don't switch over to self-employed right before you're about to, because if you're self-employed, you need at least 2 years of self-employment history in order to qualify for a loan.
And is that continuations, like with my husband is a, an independent contractor.
Yep.
And he's a, he does a 1099.
Yeah,
so,
independent contractor, same thing. Yep.
Right. Okay. So when even though they do make a lot of money,
yeah,
but it seems like it's not enough that a broker or a bank will they feel like it's a little wavy in regards to continuous income. So we were having some issues with that. So I was like, okay, well, they were go ahead.
Did you go to a brick and mortar bank?
No, we actually went through a broker.
Okay.
And the broker then was kind of like digging, okay, you need, let me see your 2018 and 2017 and 2000. So they just started kind of saying, okay, we're trying to help you, but I need to see some consistency in your income.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been also about the taxes because he probably wrote a lot of stuff off too, right? Because he has expenses.
Right.
So,
he used to travel. Right.
So there's a lot of expenses. So if you're making 100,000, but you write off 50,000 of it, really the lender sees you only make 50,000, right? Because you're writing half of it off.
Okay.
Once again, there's ways to get around some of these things, right? But it has to be particularly designed for your specific situation. Get with a professional. Also, don't apply or cancel any credit cards unless you're advised by your loan officer, right? Because either one of these, depending on the situation, either one of these could help you or hurt you. Okay, they can help or hurt you. Put it like this: the best resource is to check in with the person that you're getting the money for. That's the loan officer, right? So before you make any moves, check in with that person so you're not hurting your chances of getting the money, the M word, right? Money.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring you back for part 2, beloved.
Got to.
When do we end? We closing up? We wrapping up?
Yeah, so we're close to 9 o'clock right now.
We got land and ship. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Can we Brother Michael, can we bring you back for part 2?
Sure.
Yeah, we got to get these part 2s, because the thing is, it's so funny. We have not even touched all the other questions that we have. We have so many other questions in regards to this.
This right here, you're not going to get this information anywhere else like this. And so, Brother Michael, I implore everyone that's tuning in right now, this brother right here, you see that he is the realtor of the gods, and he is exactly that. And I bear witness to that title that Student Minister James gave you, because you are top notch as a brother, first and foremost, and as a realtor.
Allahu Akbar. Speaking of Student Minister James.
Look at that.
Student Minister James, I helped him and his lovely wife. I call her my auntie, Sister Joanne. I helped them buy their first house.
Wow. They look so happy too.
First house. This occurred maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right before COVID. Helped them get their first house. So, Sister Khalila, you asked, is it ever too late? No, this is their first home. You know, Brother Minister Mr. James is in his 70s, right? Sister Joanne, she's still in her 30s.
Right, exactly.
This is their first house, their first beautiful home, right?
Beautiful.
And when we come back, I'll get into some of the other, here's the receipts, basically, right? Here's the receipts.
Right.
Receipts.
Right? You know this, sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Brother Hinton.
Renata, Brother Hinton.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Brother Hinton, Sister Renata bought a beautiful home out in Miami. Sister Elia, I helped her, assisted her on that. And, they're doing great. Wow. I want to show you one more. Beautiful. I want to get to one more. Hey, you know this brother right here?
Hey!
I gotta know that brother right there.
Brother Tony!
I don't even remember that you taking that picture, brother.
Yeah. I gotta have the receipts, brother. I gotta have the receipts. Right. So I actually flew into Miami, right? Brother Tony I helped him sell his condo, right? And I helped him stage it. Okay. We really got in the van, found some furniture, I helped him move it in, listen. And the place couldn't even be recognized by the time I get finished getting staging it, right?
Wow.
And quick note, I got to talk on this, right?
Yes, please.
Before Brother Tony came to me, he was introduced through Brother Student Regional Minister Patrick. He was actually offered about $80,000-$85,000 for the condo. Luckily, he did not take it. All said and done, I believe we sold it for 145. Right?
Yes, sir.
So he would have basically shorted himself on over $50,000, right?
Wow.
Yeah, just taking that contract. Okay. So these are the things, right? It helps to have a professional. Hey, look, listen. This is the poster right here. Brother Haki and Sister Tamika helped them buy a house when they came here in Tampa. I love this picture on top. This is gonna be. I'm gonna put this. That's a beautiful picture up the one on top right there. They styled it.
Nice picture now there, Brother Mike.
So many more, but next time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we definitely want to bring you back. And I think, Brother Michael, if you can just give maybe just 3 high-level points so we can close this out. 3 points that people can take away until you return. What would you say?
Oh, brother, but you were showing us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is it up?
Yep, it's up. Oh, no. That was mine. Let me remove mine. There you go.
All right. Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong direction. Sorry. Okay. One, I want to put my number up, right?
Yes.
So you can call me directly, right? It's too much to go over in just here, right? So one, call me, right? 2, call me, and 3, call me, right? So that we can go over an individual plan.
Text
right?
you.
Yeah, text me, right? I'm always on the phone. I'm always live, right? So that we can get you help. Okay.
That's right.
You don't have to go at it alone. All right. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve you. And don't go one more day, right? One of the most important things I want to wrap it up with is we have to put the goal of home ownership somewhere big in our house, right? And we have to focus on it. Concentrated focus. We talk about self-improvement, and we do mentally, spiritually, and physically, but we also have to hit financially. We have to grow. Own or be owned. Let's focus on it and get it done.
Wow. Praise be to Allah.
Well, Brother Michael, we have to bring you back soon, because I don't, you know how information, like you say, you take it and you know, that was some good, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks later,
refresher.
It's like, what happened was. So definitely, we're gonna definitely have to get you back, sometime like next month sometime to kind of finish this off. And even if it's a part 3, we need to make sure that every Black person knows about this information and get this information, and not only get it, but apply this information as well. So I strongly suggest you take down, Brother Michael's information, make sure that you have the information available, and listen, stop giving people your money.
Right.
Give it to yourself.
Stop trying to cut corners. Do things the right way.
Invest in yourself.
Come on.
Hey, once again, I want to come to all the major cities in Florida in particular. By the way, if you're not in Florida, my license is only in Florida, but if you're outside of Florida in another state, I can also help you too. I can refer an agent in your state, right? Because you have to be licensed for every state. Also, I want to come and do a live home buyers workshop seminar in your city.
Yes.
Right? We'll bring a team of professionals and we'll actually do some of the steps of home ownership there, right? In the classroom, Brother Tony, they call it the do now. That's when you come in the classroom and you get busy right away. Right? Now. We're going to do some live steps right there in front of you.
Oh, so that's going to be beautiful.
You can call me on the previous number, the 518, or the one at the bottom of this flyer, the 727. Drop me a text. Drop me a text.
Praise be to Allah.
This is beautiful.
All right. So normally we have our tree of the week.
What is it this week, Sister Kalila?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. Our tree of the week
it is
invest in real estate or land. Now, again, Brother Michael did specify land, but again, you need to have a professional to walk you through the difference between real estate and land, but invest in it, right? And let's go over the key elements in regards to why you should invest in land. The first thing you should invest in land is because of a steady cash flow. Owning real estate is the way to boost your monthly income. A great return, long-term security, tax advancement. So like, Brother Michael said, listen, when you're dealing with you having your own homes and you put that on your taxes, you will get money back, right? Passive income, protection against inflation, chances to build capital, fulfillment and control, and financial future legacy. You're creating your legacy with your family. You want to be able to be that person that's on the wall that they say, hey, who is that lady that's on the wall? Well, that lady is the one that, this is why we have all of this land. Be that person, be that mortal to actually have you invest in your children's children so your children would not have to suffer like you suffered. Invest in yourself, invest in your family, invest into real estate and land. Back to you, Brother Tony.
Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in here tonight, as this is part of the process of saving self. This is part of our mission as the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives, because land ownership, investing in self, this is all a process that we must all undergo if we stand a chance to survive in this hour.
That's right.
So we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for tuning in. Brother Michael, I see you're back. And any final words, my brother?
Just thank you. I'm ready to come back at any time. I'm full.
We are going to bring you back. That's a fact.
You hear my passion? You hear my passion?
Yes,
I hear it. I hear it, Brother Micah. And we appreciate you bringing your knowledge and your understanding and your expertise in this field. And I think it's absolutely needed for the audience. And I'm sure they appreciate what you brought to the table. Look forward to Brother Michael Shabazz coming back, possibly maybe in another. We don't know what your schedule looks like, but maybe in the next couple of weeks. And then we can. I think the burning question is, when you come back, is that if you don't move the purchase, what are the consequences? And we'll leave you with that. You want to think about it.
That was the homework assignment.
There you go. Figure it out, because there's great consequences, especially living in the times that we're living in. So we're not going to hold you any longer. We appreciate you hanging here over the time. We want to thank everybody for coming out. Please like and share. We're on Facebook, YouTube. Again, Brother Michael Shabazz, he wears multiple hats.
I love this little video. Subscribe.
Definitely. Brother Tony, I'm going to send you a donation.
Yes.
My Cash App is broken for some reason, so I'm going to send it to you, Brother Tony.
All right. We heard it. That's on live. Praises be to Allah. Well, Sister Michelle, take us out.
All right. So again, tune in next Thursday to see what we have coming up. And trust me, we always have something good. And before you leave Facebook today, take a little stroll down the 7th Region Coalition page. You will find a lot of beautiful content, a lot of wonderful guests like Brother Michael Shabazz. And again, we're always bringing you something that you can benefit from. So again, tune in next Thursday. I won't do it, Brother Lau. We're not a clip, we're not a gang.
I'm not going to do it.
But we're saving lives, the 7th Region Coalition. There you go. There you go. Peace on out, everyone. Love you all. Have a wonderful evening, wonderful weekend, and we will see you. Family. Inshallah. That's right. Next Thursday.
Assalamu alaikum.